Okay. Hello. Hello. Oop. Can I turn this up? I think it's good. Hopefully. As promised, here I am on the night before I'm heading to Wisconsin, and I'm talking about Ironman Wisconsin based on my experiences of doing the race 3 times and going up there this summer and running the course, swimming in Lake Monona, the whole 9 yards. I've had a lot of experience with that course, and I thought I'd break down some things. So here are our 17 things to think about at Wisconsin. I want to talk about first. I want to talk about. First of all, I want to just say, if you guys are doing this race, it is a blast. It is a fun course. I really hope that the people come out and support it like they always have in the past. I know last year they didn't get a chance. No one got a chance to race it, and now I really hope that they come out in full force. The weather should be good. It looks really nice, and as someone told me once before I ever did it, they said that you will be shocked by the support on the bike course. And that to me is like a massive thing, because that bike can really be a grinder. But it's almost, I think, like about every hill you hit, there's somebody out there with music, or there's parties going on. And there's many, many sections of that course where there are a lot of people. And I just hope that it holds true this year. So look forward to it. It's a really good energy race, and have fun with it. All right, number one, the race morning at the Helix. There's a lot of people around. It's a lot of congestion. There's a lot of people putting stuff in their bags, and just families walking around. The energy is pretty high, and I just want you to calm down, because there is not much room to kind of find a spot, but try and find a calm spot to chill and get your breath. And we always talk about before the race, like 5 to 10 minutes before you're going to enter the water, just find your spot, and don't just shut the world off, and focus on your breathing, focus on getting warmed up, and get your body, the blood flowing to your upper body. But most importantly, just kind of be able to escape the rat race, unless you like being in social scenes like that. It can be really fun, but find some time, 10, 15 minutes before the race, and get focused, and just work on your breathing, because you want to hit that water relaxed and ready to go. Number two, the water, in my experience, has been, I've had a smoother day, and I've had some pretty rough days out there. It's a big lake. The water can be kind of choppy, so really take your time, settle in, and just find a groove, because it's worth settling down and finding a groove in a choppy situation than struggling all day like I did last time. I kind of thought I was going to overpower it, and I was just all over the place, and that swim beat the hell out of me. I think it is going to be a 2-loop swim, obviously. So there may be, depending on where you start and everything like that, if you start in the front and you're a pretty fast swimmer, you may end up hitting some congestion on the second loop. The first loop should be cool, pretty open, and I think the second time you come around, you can hit some loop, or some congestion out there. So just be chill, and take your time. Don't try and set any records on this swim. It's a tougher swim, I think, compared to Ironman swim. So just be happy with getting out of the water and feeling good. Transition is usually inside, and I think hopefully it'll still be inside. I don't know how they're going to work it. Normally you run inside and somebody will get your bag ready, and they'll help you get dressed and change in your bike gear, and it's really awesome. It's a nice thing. And then you run out and you go back and get your bike. And I would say going up the Helix, you just want to take it easy, because you can really get your heart rate going up that thing. And there's a lot of people on either side of you screaming and playing drums and slapping you on the back, and it'll be a fun experience. But don't go overboard as you're running up to get your bike. The bike course itself. Now, the first 5 miles is a really good time to chill and get your fluids, and get your get your food, get something going for yourself, because I think basically, I don't know if it's 3 miles or something like that, but it's kind of a no passing zone anyway. So there's no sense in putting the hammer down. There never is, really, coming out of the water. But just take your time and make sure you fuel, and you'll eventually kind of ride behind the Alliant arena, and then you're going to be heading out to the stick. Well, I mean, they call that probably the stick, but the stick itself really kind of starts, I feel like, when you get out of the Alina parking lot and you go over the highway, and then you're back in the neighborhoods and heading out to Verona. Now, the stick on the way out, there's going to be some free speed there, but I would not obviously hammer it. You're gonna, it's hard to notice because you're kind of fired up and you're going on, you feel good, and you're gonna get some decent downhills on that stick. I think it's like, I don't know, 14 miles out to the loop, and it's Wayland Road, which is the nemesis on the way back. So you're gonna be feeling pretty good, and it's a nice ride out to Verona. And then, but when you get to Verona, and you'll know because there'll be like a park, and you'll see rocket bikes, I think it's called. It's kind of in the city before you make the left turn, and that's right when the loop starts. So that's the point when you're going to want to pull back, because you're going to start the hills, and as we know, the hills are relentless out there. And I love this course. I love this bike course. It's a really fun ride for me. That first section is going to be a little bumpy, so just be prepared for that mentally. The roads aren't that great. I think they have repaved the road as you kind of, I forgot what, you kind of go, when you start the stick, you go up and then you turn right, and then you kind of do some neighborhood stuff, which is really kind of cool. I love that part. And then you get out to a highway, and I think they've repaved that. So that was actually my least favorite part of this course, probably because of the road, but usually because it's a sort of a false flat, and you're into a headwind, it feels like, and it's like a long 7 mile flat-ish kind of like, but hopefully with that road, it'll make it a lot better. But from the beginning, take these hills easy, especially on the first loop. Just go up easy, and then take the speed on the backside. When you get on these hills, you just climb up them easy. Stay in the gear that you're in when you cross over the top, and then don't shift until you're kind of actually going a little bit down to, not put yourself in a bad position of climbing in a bad gear or something like that. So make sure you're up, climb over, crest the hill, and get going and use the speed on the downhill. There's a lot out there. It's amazing how you can take the climbs easy and use the speed on the backside and have a pretty decent day out there. Again, take the whole first loop easy and just get to know it a little bit to see what you're into. You want to come into that second loop with something in the tank, because if you go into these hills right away and just try to slam them, it's going to be a problem. But enjoy them, because like there's some just cool sections, and when you'll see some of these like that one triple hill thing, when you can kind of look out over these farm fields and their silos, and you see these roads, it's just beautiful. And but if you're patient and you climb easy, you're not going to get hammered. On that second loop, I would say you'll probably feel a little bit. Hopefully, you'll feel better. There's some longer climbs, but if you take them easy and you go back into that second loop, and you're going to be, whatever, 50, 60 miles in, and you're going to feel, hopefully you kind of woke up, and you want to feel like kind of coming alive around 50 or 60 miles, not being like, holy shit, I got this half of this race left to do. So, and again, just play it smart. Don't overcook the hills. I don't think they're that awful, but there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of turns. So, just be in the right gears when you're turning. You can make up speed on corners. There's all sorts of ways to make up speed on this course. I mean, it's just not a fast course. I mean, some of the top age groupers on normal courses will be, off the ride in 5 hours or something like that. And I think at Wisconsin, it's like, if you're down around 5:30, you're really at the top end of the age group, or anything really. I mean, I don't even think the pros really get too close to that 5 hours out there. They may, but I mean, not many of them. A lot of them are in the low, or the 5:20s, 5:30s, I believe. But anyway, so just don't try to beat the course, because it's hard. It's hard to score on this one. Now, and then when you get back through the second loop, and then you still have 14 miles left, that's when I think one of the harder parts of this course is. It's that stick coming in that you probably remember as sort of a fast section, but it seems like the wind's always in your face and you didn't notice the hills that you were kind of flying down on the way out. So there, save something for the end. Don't think you're done once you fly through Verona the second time with all the people around and screaming. You still got 15 miles of work. When you get back to the lake, you'll see the Helix on the right, and it will be the best sight of your life. And then you'll have to ride up the Helix. And if it's like it was, you just give your bike to someone else. You go back inside, change in your run stuff, get your run fuel and everything you need, and then you come out for the run. Which takes me to like the energy coming out on the run is like pretty high. You'll run right out, and there'll be a ton of people there already, and you'll run around the Capitol, and then you head down State Street for like 2 blocks. There's cafe seating everywhere in front of these restaurants, and they're all packed, and everybody's screaming, and their streets are lined. And you'll get that both times coming in or going out and coming back in. And then there's another section of State Street that you do the same thing on. There's a lot of people on that too, but and it's all like when you start, it's you start with a little bit of a climb uphill out of the transition, but the State Street section is like downhill. You'll be so pumped and ready to run. Just be careful. Just pull back, because a lot of people can really screw up their Ironman run on the first 2 or 3 miles, and one way is getting swept up in the energy out there. So yeah, take it easy till you get back to like the running path. You'll see like all these practice football fields, and the band might be out there practicing, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like the running trail that goes through the campus. So I would just take it super easy till you get out there, and on the way out, you're going to run through Camp Randall, the football stadium, and while that's kind of cool, it's not the, it kind of feels like, damn, I got to go down in here and do this, because there's a sort of a steep ramp that goes down to the field, and you run around the field and then you come back out that same ramp, and it's a little bit of a pincher, so be careful of that. And then after you run on that running path for a while, you come back out and you get on State Street again on the bottom half, and there'll be a lot of people out there as well, and it's a gradual uphill. It's very slight. Oh, before you hit that though, I should mention is the toughest part of the course, which I think is around mile 6 on the first loop, and it's Observatory Hill. And the minute you'll know you're getting to it, because you'll come off of the bike path or the running path and go back onto a street, and then you'll hit the first hill, and then you kind of go down and up another one, and then I think there might be like 3 hills. The first one is Observatory, it's the toughest, but there's a couple more after that you want to be ready for, and then you come flying down on the back side of it, a curl around to the right, and then you go up on State Street and run up it, and then you come back down, and then you get back on the bike path on a different place. Or the running trail behind the campus, and then it's sort of a gravelly road at that point. There is some gravel, I think, on the first section too. It's not bad. It's sort of crushed, and it's just sort of hard dirt, but it's not a bad thing. But that part, once you get back to where you met it the first time, you keep going past it and doing out and back, and that's another shitty section, to be honest. There's really not that many people out there, and it's kind of a seemingly never-ending out and back, and then you turn around and come back, and then kind of go back the same way you did back through you don't go into Camp Randall the second time, but when you get back to Camp Randall, there's some like sneaky hills on this course that kind of just keep showing up. So just be careful on the run with pushing those hills too hard, especially on that first loop. And then you'll go back out and you'll run back up that same State Street part where I said don't go too fast, and you run back around the Capitol, kind of down into the finisher chute, real close. It's that thing that annoys people, because you can see the finish line maybe 50 yards away, and then they make you spin back out and go back and do exactly what you just did. And I just went through the course, so you know what it is, but it's just the second time. The one thing I will note is that we always talk about, wait until mile 18 or 20 to sort of hopefully, turn up your effort level to 9 or 10, and hopefully hang on for the last 10K. The last 10K starts after you hit State Street the second time, you go up and then you come back down it, and then you turn back onto the running trail. That's about where 10K is from the finish line. So just so you know, that'll be the marker when, you know, you're in good shape to finish, and hopefully you've got, you know, some reserves where you can just keep going. I mean, we talk about keep running, and that's the point when it's going to be like, you just got to suck it up, man. I mean, we talk about, you know, mental toughness. And I remember the first time I did this race, I was right there, and I was dying from the step one. It's my first Ironman, and every single step of that race hurt. And I had held to that point right about a 10-minute average. And I knew I had to do 6 miles at a 10-minute pace to break 11 hours. Or I mean, to break 12 hours, I'm sorry. And I knew that. And it was the worst feeling, because I mean, if I wasn't so close, I probably would have just chilled it out and, you know, done 12:08 or 12:10 or whatever it would have been. But I knew I had it, and my buddy's like, "All you got's a 10K." And at the time, I hadn't been running that long, and a 10K still seemed like a long ways to me, and it really was. And just a quick story of how that was: I was using my chrono watch, so every time I'd hit a mile marker, I'd hit reset, and I'd be like, "All right, 9:54," and I'd be like, "All right, I'm on pace." And the next one would be 10:01. I'd be like, "All right, I'm still there," and then whatever. And I got to mile 24. And I hit the restart, and I was looking at it. And so I'm running towards mile 25, right? And it's like 10:30, 10:45, 11:03. And I was like, I'm fucked. I thought I was really done. And I literally stopped and walked for about 10 steps. And I said, man, I blew it. I can't get there. And then I said, I thought to myself, maybe I missed that mile 25 marker. And I said, let's just hope so. And I just turned the watch off or whatever, and I just started running to the finish line. And I ended up making it by 2 minutes, so 11:58 or something like that. But you talk about a lonely feeling out there, thinking, man, you just did all this and then that, whatever. But anyway, I think the run course is well supported too. There's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of race energy, like I like to talk about. I think that's what carried me. I don't know if I could have done it with nobody around. And I think a lot of times that's sort of the hard part, when people are out there so long that they, you know, they lose the fan situation, spectators. And I kudos to you guys for hanging with it, you know, if you've done that before. And then finally, when you can hear the finish line, we always talk about it. You can hear the screaming, the energy at the, pretty much when you get back onto State Street. There's 2 blocks that you go up, and then you hit the Capitol, and then you got to run all the way around it. And it doesn't seem like that much when you're there a couple of days earlier, but that last, you know, I don't know how far it would be, maybe even like a quarter, you know, a little over a quarter mile. That's probably more than that. It might be a half mile actually, from State Street all the way to the finish line. But you can hear the energy, and you know that at that point you're going up a little bit of a grade on State Street, and you find a whole new life in you and a whole new gear. And I love the finish line. I think it's amazing. I feel like it starts on State Street and then it goes all the way around the Capitol, because people know you're finishing, and people are all over the place cheering on all sides. And then you run into the finisher chute, and you know, I'm pretty sure Mike Riley will be there, and you'll get to hear your name through Mike Riley's voice. And it's pretty cool. The Capitol's lit up in the background, and you're running down this nice grade to the finish line, and there's people everywhere, and it's a pretty good feeling. So just be patient out there and have fun. I really think that's the way to do it. Just don't try to beat the course, you know, keep it within your own stuff, and then make it happen. All right. If you guys have any questions, crushingiron@gmail.com. You can email me if you have specific questions about the race. And I wish you the best of luck. See you up there.